Namaskar and welcome back to another video from Kotak Securities. It is the weekend, that means it is time for our weekly currency insights. This is Karan Pai, your host and guide for the day. So, without any further ado, let us get started with what has happened in the currencies in the previous week. So, अगर आप इस चार्ट को थोड़े गौर से देख लोगे तो आपको पता चल जाएगा कि येन हैज बीन द मोस्ट अंडरपरफॉर्मिंग करेंसीज वन ऑफ द अंडरपरफॉर्मिंग करेंसीज एंड अगर आप बाकी तीन करेंसीज को देखोगे दे हैव डन प्रीटी वेल. So what happened in the USD/INR the previous week? So from the US, we had the manufacturing data, the unemployment claims, and there was slight volatility. So on the chart, what you can see is there was massive volatility expansion in the week that went by. So after a couple of sessions of consolidation, we saw a massive up move, and the pair tested a fresh lifetime high. Now, this happened on Wednesday. On Thursday, the pair actually opened on a flattish note, attempted to move higher, but then it failed and then again re entered the trading range that it had formed for the past couple of weeks. So, all in all, it was a roller coaster ride for the dollar rupee pair. Now, what happened in other currencies? So, first off, Euro INR. So Euro INR lacked those internal factors that could actually give euro the trend. So अगर आप euro INR का price action देखोगे, it was very closely related to what was happening in the dollar. So euro में as such ऐसे कुछ development या as such ऐसे कुछ news या data points नहीं थे. Now one thing to keep in mind is that CPI आया था and इसका जो eurozone का जो CPI था that came in hot again at a multi-decade high, वो वहां पर sustain कर रहा है. So the expectation from the central bank has actually increased. The market is in general they are expecting a 75 basis point hike in the coming meeting. But the I've been repeating this time and again. The central bank is in a dilemma at this point of time. First off, they're running out of time, and then the dilemma comes in from whether to follow the other central banks by raising interest rates at a faster pace that could actually lead to recession, or slightly reduce the pace and they might see euro bleed against the dollar. So in the next week, what the central bank does is something that could actually spike up the volatility in the euro and in turn in the euro INR pair. So GBP, GBP INR pair, this again was very fragile and was very news driven. We also had the inflation data, it came in at a multi decade high. But the matter here was the thing to be focused on here was the political instability. Now, in the same government, there are two people contradicting each other. And this actually led to many questions as to is there a possible political instability? I mean, could something go wrong? And then things unfolded on Thursday when Liz Truss, the Prime Minister, the newly elected Prime Minister of UK, actually put up her resignation just in 44, 45 days. So that kind of solves one part of the political instability. The others still are there, but we saw the pound react to this, and we had a negative reaction in the GBP INR. So, if you see the chart, a couple of I believe in the previous video as well, we had mentioned that the 94, 94, 50, 94, 30, that is kind of a zone that has acted as support earlier. Now, if you see probably in early 2022, that is, I wouldn't say early 2022, but May, June, August, and even in the month of September, this level has acted as a support. And then there was a breakdown, and the breakdown was very steep. We had a one way move down. Now, while correcting, there is a technical term that the previous supports become the new resistances. So now, while the GBP/INR pair was moving higher, this level possibly is acting as a resistance at this point of time. If you see the price action, when the moment the prices get anywhere close to the 94 level, there is some amount of selling pressure that is pushing the GBP/INR pair lower. Now for the JPY/INR. Now, over the week, we had a verbal intervention from many Japanese authorities. Every morning, they used to come and say that they are closely looking at the price action in the yen. They are trying to intervene. I mean, not they wouldn't exactly say that they're trying to intervene, but they would say that we are taking steps to arrest the speculative moves in the yen. Despite that, the yen actually followed the US 10-year bond yields. Now, because the Fed sounded hawkish, the US 10-year bond yields were moving higher. And if you see the Fed sounding hawkish and the BOJ, they are keeping their policy ultra loose. that was already attracting many traders who were looking at the policy divergence. Now, what happened was people were expecting the BOJ officials or the MOF officials to come in at the psychological level of 150 and come in and intervene. But on Friday, in the early Asian hours of trading, the level of 150 was actually breached, and we did not see any massive moves coming from the BOJ authorities or the Japanese authorities. And then once the bears actually tasted blood, then there was again up move. I mean, things did not stop at 150.20. It just kept going. It kept going. So that effect was kind of seen in the JPY INR pair as well. So earlier there was a consolidation, then it turned into a drift on the downside, and then it turned into a massive fall. So it we had mentioned the 55.20 to act as a support level in our daily write-ups in many articles that we share on our Telegram channel, and those levels were also taken out on Friday. So all in all, the trend for the JPY INR also looks to be on the downside. Now, events that could actually spike up the volatility next week. Now, as we enter the next week, it is more of a central bank decision driven week, because we have the ECB, we have the BOJ both coming up with their monetary policies. And at this point of time, both those policies are very crucial. If you remember a few minutes back, I had told that the ECB is in a kind of dilemma, and the participants will be looking at what ECB does at this point of time. Similarly, BOJ too is expected to comment on the recent depreciation that we have seen in the yen, and we could see market react according to the statements, according to the policy rate changes, etc. And then we have the most crucial data point, that is the PCE price index. Now, bear in mind, PCE price index is something that the Fed closely looks at to take a gauge of the inflation and come up with the policy. I mean, we could see the reflection of the PCE in the next Fed meet. So that is something that the participants actually very keenly wait for. Now, currency is going ahead for the dollar rupee. On Friday morning, we had mentioned that there is a pattern in the price movement in the dollar rupee. So a strong up move followed by consolidation, then a strong up move followed by consolidation. So an up move and consolidation is kind of the theme that dollar rupee is following right now. So with the up move behind us, now we can expect some amount of consolidation, and we expect the range to be broadly in between 82.50 and 83.22 on the upside. And coming on to euro, again 80.35 on the downside and 81.65 on the upside is what we see the broader range to be. GBP INR 91.84 on the upside is where we see the supports come in, and on for the resistance we expect 93.50 to act as a resistance going ahead. For the yen, the bias for the coming week is bearish, and on the downside, 54.50 is what we could expect to act as a support, and 55.83 is where we can expect the resistances to come in. So, thank you for joining us for this weekly currency insights. We'll see you all next week. Till then, if you are not subscribed to our Telegram channel, do subscribe to our Telegram channel. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel to get continuous updates on the currencies every day and the weekly insights. So that's all from me today. Thank you for tuning in. See you all next week. Till then, stay safe, trade safe.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.